I'm Ava, and welcome to Korean Ladder.
안녕하세요, 하나입니다. 오늘도 한국어 발음을 같이 연습해요.
안녕하세요. 준호입니다. 받침 소리를 짧고 또렷하게 들어보겠습니다.
Here's my problem. I hear a tiny sound at the end of Korean words, and sometimes I miss it completely. Like, is it or? And are any different?
좋은 질문이에요. 받침은 syllable final consonant예요. In English, it is the consonant sound that closes a Korean syllable.
오늘의 핵심은 두 가지입니다. First, hear whether there is a final consonant. Second, hear which final consonant it is.
그리고 중요한 사실이 하나 있어요. Some letters sound the same at the end of a word, so spelling and sound are not always one-to-one.
For example, ip and ip are pronounced the same when they stand alone. Ip. You cannot reliably hear the spelling difference there.
Wait, Soib and Eve are not a clean listening pair by themselves?
맞아요. Alone, they sound the same. But add a vowel, like E, and the spelling comes alive. 입이, 잎이.
Listen. 입이. The 비읍 links softly as a P sound. 입이.
Now, 이치. The 피은 links as a P sound. 입시.
입이. 입이. Now you can hear the difference. P versus P after linking.
Let me try. EB, EP.
좋아요. 입이 has a softer linked P sound. 잎이 has a stronger linked P sound.
Now let's hear a pair that is different even at the end. 구 and 굿.
굴. The tongue touches lightly for real at the end. 굴.
굼. In this form, the final sound is 미음. 굼. Lips close at the end.
Sower ends with a tongue sound, and ends with closed lips. 굴, 굼.
완벽해요. Don't say 구루 or 구무. No extra 으 sound after the 받침.
Let's compare no 받침 and 받침. 구, 굴. The second word closes with 리을.
Open syllables feel unfinished in the mouth. Closed syllables stop or touch somewhere. Lips, tongue, or throat area.
So I should listen for where the word ends in my mouth, not just for a big extra sound.
Exactly. Korean final consonants are often unreleased. That means they can be small, but they are still real.
Now we'll use them in real short sentences. First, 굴이 있어요. There are oysters, or there is a cave, depending on context.
And 굶어요 means someone is going hungry or not eating. Before 어요, the 리을 comes back. 굶어요.
Listen to the real dialogue. Focus on the final sounds and the linked sounds. 오늘 굴이 있어요.
좋아요. 저는 안 굶어요.
입이 되지 않게 조심하세요.
네. 잎이 아니라 입이죠.
I heard 굴이 with 리을, linking and 굶어요 with 굶어요, like movement in the middle. That is wild.
Good noticing. In 굶어요, the spelling has 리을 plus 미음, and before 어요, you hear both movement and linking. 굶어요.
Repeat after me. 입.
입,
좋아요. now 입이.
입이.
좋아요. Now 입시. Make the linked P sound clearer.
잎이.
Good. Now Q. End with your tongue touching, but no extra vowel.
굴.
Now 금. Close the lips at the end, like 미음.
굼.
Here is the common English speaker mistake. Adding a little vowel after the final consonant. 굴 becomes 구루, and 잎 becomes 이부 or 이프.
Fix it by closing the syllable and stopping there. 입, 굴, 군, short and clean.
So not 구르, justger, not 구무, justum.
Quiz time. You hear a word by itself. 입. Which statement is best?
I think the answer is B, because ib and ib sound the same alone.
정답이에요. In isolation, sound alone cannot tell you the spelling. With E, you hear 입이 and 입비.
Second quiz. Which correction is more natural if a learner says 구루 for 굴?
That one is B, close with 릴, and do not add a vowel.
맞아요. 굴은 한 음절이에요. In English, 구 is one closed syllable, not two syllables like 구루. 정리해 볼게요. 받침은 음절 끝을 닫는 소리예요. In English, 받침 is the final consonant that closes a Korean syllable.
핵심 둘째입니다. 받침을 들을 때는 입술, 혀, 목에 닫힘을 느끼세요. In English, feel where the syllable closes. Lips, tongue, or throat area. Yeah.
핵심 셋째입니다. 입과 ip은 혼자 있을 때 같은 소리예요. In English, do not pretend you can hear the spelling difference when the word stands alone.
핵심 넷째입니다. 모음이 오면 숨어있던 차이가 들립니다. In English, before a vowel, compare 입이 and 잎이, or 굼 and 굶어요.
My keeper sentence is 굴이 있어요. 저는 안 굶어요. I can hear where and I can feel him.
오늘은 받침을 짧게 닫는 것만 기억하세요. In English, close the syllable cleanly and don't add an extra vowel.
다음 시간에는 받침이 다음 모음으로 이어질 때를 더 연습하겠습니다. Thanks for climbing with Korean Ladder.